Hello sirs, we're back. It's MinkiSan back after Christmas break doing another video. Today we're looking at D3DGear. Okay, so D3DGear, you're probably wondering what the hell it is. I didn't know about this software until extremely recently. When I started making this series I didn't know about it, and I had seen it on Steam but just didn't think anything of it. There's lots of stuff that claims to be good and isn't. So anyway, I contacted the devs and said, can I have a copy of that software? And they said, yeah. And then I said, can I have a copy of that software to give away as well? And they said, yeah. So we're going to do a competition at the end of this video to give away a copy of D3DGear. But before you even bother trying to enter, do you want to know if it's any good? Well, let's find out, shall we? Before we look at the software, let's just go through my PC spec list. So my CPU is an i7-4790K. The GPU I'm using is an MSI GTX 980 Twin Frozer. That's on an MSI, so the motherboard's an MSI Z97 Gaming 7 motherboard. My RAM, I've got 16 gig of Corsair Vengeance RAM, and whether it's relevant or not, I've got a Corsair H100i liquid cooler, and the PSU is a CX750M. Let's have a look at the software itself first. The interface is, well, it's horrible, isn't it? You can have it looking horrible like this or horrible like this. So I don't know. There's so much. In the grand scheme of things, it's irrelevant how it looks, isn't it? It's whether it works. But do you know what? It should be a piece of software that's just, you know, over on a different screen. I don't care about it. It's just a tool that's running in the background. However, I would like it to look nicer than it does. So that's one negative little gripe I'm going to have with it. That's just one little thing. I contacted the devs and said, can I have a copy to give away? And they said, yes, give us a really fantastic review. And I was like, well, it sort of doesn't work like that. I'll look at the software, and if it's good, I'll say it's good, and if it's bad, I'll say it's bad. And I'm really pleased to say that I am so surprised by this software, pleasantly surprised, not just surprised. I've got lots of really positive things to say about it. So whether the devs had asked me to do that or anything, I would have just told you if it was terrible. I am going to point out some negatives with it anyway, as I always do if there are any. But this is really caught me by surprise. I wasn't aware of this software, and actually you'll see in the performance tests shortly how well it does, and the quality of the footage is coming out of it. It's some sort of devil software. I don't know how it works. Anyway, let's have a look at the interface and then we'll go into the software itself. So you can have D3D run when you start playing, so you can always just record if you're interested in doing that. And I think it's quite a light client. I don't think it seems to take up many CPU cycles. So it could be something you're always running, and then if you just want to quickly hit the record button because you're doing something cool, that could be a good way to walk. I don't think it has, I haven't found anyway, if it has a time shift sort of feature like some of the software has, but it's really light, so you may not need it anyway, unless you're just trying to save space, etc. One of the cool things about this software is, you know, one of the things I'm interested in is the customizability of this software, and the fact that I can literally move the FPS counter anywhere on screen is really handy. So if you're going to play a specific game and you know that this bit of the screen is redundant, you can have it there or there or there or here. Do you know what I mean? I've just got it in the predefined location because I'm not very adventurous and things like that. You can also change the colour of the FPS counter. So I went for green, obviously. I don't know why I just did. And you can change the size of it as well. So you can make it really small. That's too small to see. That's too big, but I can't seem to find a happy medium at the moment. So I'm actually going to change it to about there. And then you can change the actual time that the FPS is measuring, because obviously this is also a benchmarking tool. So you can change your how the FPS is measured. So that's just the FPS overlay. Screenshots, you've got all your standard sort of bits and pieces, BMPs, JPEG, PNGs and GIFs. Screenshot button, you can hold down, oh no, you can press the button and then keep taking continuous screenshots until the key's released. So that could be cool if you were going to try and do some cool effect with something in a video. For instance, you're filming your mate do a jump and you want to do like sort of stop motion. I mean, you could do that with video anyway, but it'd be easier to do it with taking continuous screenshots. I don't know, I'm just trying to give you ideas, all right? And then we come down to the bit that made me go, right, this software looks horrid. I really hate the way it looks. However, I also wasn't expecting very much from it, and I think that's why I was so surprised. I thought it was going to be a bit crap, to be honest. And that's why I was so surprised at the options I had here. So I came in and I thought, right, okay, great, I can set where my videos are going to go, and I can record the game, the desktop or the desktop region, which is always nice to have that option. If you want to play in a window, for example, and you want to be able to just capture that region, you can do. or you want to record a certain specific thing on your screen while you're doing something else over here, secret, change the record buttons and stuff. I like the fact you can customize those things. Resolutions, I could only get to 256 by 1920. I record at 2560 by 1440, which is like 1440p, 2.5K or 2K or something like that, I would call it. I don't know if there's an option to go further. If there was, I would imagine there would be more. So I don't know if you can record in 4K, but either way, 1440p, 1080p, it's all there for you. You can set the frame rates up to 60 FPS. That's as much as you can do. So I wish that was a little bit, you could go a bit higher. You don't need to. You don't need more than 60 FPS, but it's just nice to be able to have the smoothness of frames when you're doing stuff, especially if you want to do slow-mo and things. And then you've got the two different formats. So you've got AVI 1 and AVI 2. AVI 2 is basically so AVI 1 is the older version, and it's going to allow you to record. I can't remember if it's 2 or 4 gig, but your files can be a max of 2 or 4 gig in size. AVI 2 OpenDML is basically just a big file size, whatever you want it to be. Just record for 4 hours and have a 60 gig file or whatever you want. And they are basically, AVI are just wrappers for WMV. I think that's correct, a wrapper for it. Or you can record in WMV. But I've got mine set to AVI 2 because that's the most modern and the one you should use if you've got the option to. Now the codecs, this is where it's going to get interesting. Obviously, I record my stuff if I've got the option to with an NVIDIA hardware H.264 codec. There is the H.265 codec, but like I said in previous videos, I find the H.264 to just be better. You get better quality from it, so that's what I use. But I thought, as a matter of sort of just tests, I should go and check some of the other codecs out. And, well, look, I'll tell you what, on screen in a second, there are going to be some results from my stuff. Let's quickly look at that a moment. Look in the top left of each of those screens. Check the frame rates out. I've never seen anything like that. How it's making. I mean, I did a test with. So I had Action running, so I could use the counter for the FPS, and then it would also give me the average FPS that the game was running at. And I also had D3D running. Now D3D and Action recorded the same frame rate. It was reduced slightly because I was running 2 capture softwares, obviously, but I think that the D3D frames that it's reporting are real, which is amazing. I mean, I'm getting 125 FPS at points during those recordings, even when I wasn't using the hardware encoder. The fast MPEG 4 version 2 codec is incredible. What the hell? It's not using any hardware, but it's getting incredible frame rates. I really don't know. I just don't understand how it works. Now, with the Huffy, I got really nice video and really good frame rates. However, if you look at this picture, this little JPEG just here, you can see that this is something that happens to a lot of YouTubers. You will create a video and then suddenly you find out that your audio and video aren't in sync. It's bloody annoying, and you have to essentially render your video again in a program called Handbrake to be able to get them to sync up together so you can use the video. Because even if you start cutting your video to try and get it to sync up, etc., or stretch it or do whatever, it never fits properly with your video, so it's a real nightmare. So the Huffy just here, this Huffy Huff YUV lossless codec is fast, but I couldn't get my audio to sync properly. Now I did do that with MP3, not the raw PCM, so I don't know if that would make a difference, but I'm not really techie enough to know about the headers and things. So what I will be using for the main test later on is the H.264 codec, because that just is the one that I've used on all the other tests to keep it the same. Obviously best quality with an automatically assigned amount of threads, just seems to make more sense. The audio files, you've got two choices. You can go for raw PCM or MP3. Now raw PCM is literally the raw audio file, and it's the way I understand it, it means it's that AS2, I can't remember what it's called, but it means that you don't get the headers and the information in the top of the audio file. So I'm not really understanding it. I'm going for MP3. Unless you're a techie guy and you know what that means, you're probably better off just going for MP3 as well. One of the features that I really appreciate about any software is if they have this, a default playback device option. So I don't have to select my specific sound, my specific microphone, because it means that whatever I'm hearing and whatever I'm talking into, which is always my mic, but if I'm listening to speakers, if I've got my headset on, or whatever, it means that the video I'm getting, I know I'm getting sound as well. really important for me. So that's really useful to be able to have that. Then I can set the other thing that's, as you know from the other videos, it's so important to me, is to be able to save my microphone as a second audio track. So ideally, I would like 3 audio tracks. One for the game, one for my audio, and one for friends' audio if we're on TeamSpeak, so using a virtual audio cable, to be able to separate those into 3 streams. Most software doesn't seem to do that, so as a compromise, 2 is fine. And this is a compromise, but it's still great that it's got a second, an option to save my mic in a second track. It really does help out with, you know, being able to cut bits of audio out and stuff when you just talk nonsense. I've had this tick so I can add the frame rate to the videos I've just recorded, and so that's pretty cool. That you can record those too. Right, let's have a look. So you're also able to broadcast, so you can stream using this software as well. So another thing that I was surprised with is the fact that you can stream all the different sort of regions and stuff like that. You can put your broadcast key in. Oh dear, what have I done? I don't want to do that. Clear. You can actually pick a platform. Say for instance you wanted Twitch. Okay, add your stream key in. And then you can go and add Hitbox, and put your stream key in. And then you can go and put a custom one in. Now, I haven't tried adding my stream keys yet, so I don't know if I can add more than one custom URL, so I could then do Dailymotion and YouTube, for example. But instead of using a service like Restream to stream for me, which you do lose a little bit of quality, if you've got the bandwidth, you can actually broadcast to all your configured servers simultaneously. So you can multi-broadcast, provided you've got the bandwidth, like I say, to your to Twitch, YouTube, Dailymotion, whatever you can accommodate within your bitrate at the same time, which is amazing. That's absolutely amazing. I don't know if that option's in other software. If it is, it's not apparent. So that's really cool. Also, you can only stream it up to 1080, which is 1920 by 1080. You can only stream in HD at, again, 60 FPS. You can select your bitrate. It does let you go as high as you want, really. I don't know anyone who... I mean, 8,000. I think that's about 8 gig. Is that 8 gig or 8 meg? I don't know. It doesn't matter. It's 8 something, which is pretty high. I think my streams used to be about 3.5, and that was really good quality, apparently, when you do those things. Again, you can pick your different codecs. So I was going to do some tests and use their own software encoder to see how it works. I won't be doing that. I'm not going to test streaming. It causes issues for my channels everywhere that I've got to then go around and mess around with things. Again, set your devices that you want to use. That was the other thing as well in the movie. Now I would always leave this to post edit, but you can change the audio as you're recording. So if you want the game sound a little bit lower, you can just sort of drop that down a little bit. I mean, if you were just going to be a lazy editor and not bother doing stuff in the edits, then that's fine. You've got the option to do that. And then you can also save your broadcast as you go in, and so the broadcasting options are really, really cool. The other thing when you're broadcasting is, and this is built in, is the ability to have a media overlay. So you could actually have 3 different overlays, which could be a webcam, it could be an actual overlay which you've created. So you could use I think it says HTML file. Let's have a little look. Just a media file. So you would create a file that you use, and then you can also have Stream Pro or sort of built into it. So you can have 3 different options built into your overlays, which you can just. And then the media file, so you can create a really professional looking thing and just broadcast directly from this software. Now I use XSplit when I broadcast. This has everything in it, and it doesn't cost monthly. You pay 1 fee and you've got it, which is, I just think that's really cool. And obviously it's got the obligatory benchmarking tools. So let's go and have a look at the footage that I've recorded. So I've obviously done Project Cars and then a little bit of Battlefield, which I'll edit just my kills, make it look good in. And then we can talk about how it fared compared to the other softwares. So same track, same everything. I haven't done anything to the footage. So I've explained it in every video, but I'm going to say it now in case it's the only one you watch. I would normally add some saturation, about only a little bit. I might add some gamma, I might sharpen or de-sharpen the video a little bit. The only thing I've actually done with this footage is to disable the resample, otherwise you would get pixelated footage regardless of how the software did. But look at the frame rates, look at the top left corner. I mean, I was basically watching that most of the way around because I was so surprised at the frame rates I was getting. It's absurd. I've never seen a game get that high frame rate when it's been recorded. You know, I say a game, this game is what I'm talking about. I've never been able to record it that high a frame rate. It's just, I don't know how this software works. I don't know what it's doing. I don't know how it's managed to do. It's better than Shadowplay. It's better than NVIDIA's own software at using NVIDIA's hardware. How is that actually possible? The quality of the video, as I'm looking at it now, is flawless. It's perfect. There is absolutely zero defects with the footage. The sound's great. The audio sound was great. Everything about this video was perfect. It was easy to work with. The file worked straight into Vegas. There was no messing around. I just have no clue how they've done this. It's phenomenal. You'll see shortly the frame. I'm sure this is the run I did, and the frame goes up to about 125 FPS. 125. When Shadowplay itself peaks at 103, I think we get 103 there, 104, 107, 111, maybe 113 this time. I don't know, something different. I've got 125 FPS using this software previously. It's incredible. Let's move on to Battlefield. And straight away, I think you can see the quality of the video, firstly, just the smoothness of everything. And if you look at the frames, it's getting between 57 and 60, but you're not seeing any of those massive drops which cause you issues when you come to edit. You're not seeing any of those huge spikes upwards. It is quite stable. Where are we at? We're right now 70s, 60s, between 60 and 70 FPS. I would say it's averaging around 60, which is perfect. I mean, it's exactly what you want. It's exactly the frames I'd set it to record at anyway. But how is it doing that? How is this piece of software able to do so well in those tests? I mean, it's recorded better than Shadowplay. NVIDIA's own software with NVIDIA's own hardware didn't do as well on Project Cars as this does. Now, Battlefield is a much more intensive game, uses a lot more CPU cycles, so I can well understand all software is not doing as well here. But my God, this is just incredible. And look at the footage. I mean, I don't know how it's going to render out, but I can tell you now, when I am looking at this, as I am when I'm sort of making the videos before, the footage looks first rate. There's you know, I'm so happy with it. So let's move on to some results and see how it fares against the other softwares that we've shown. So we've added D3DGear into our new look chart, and you can see I went back to the Shadowplay footage and had a look. Now, I could have put D3D in with 120 FPS. What I've done is got a bit excited about Shadowplay, I think, and it peaked at 103. It certainly wasn't the average. I think the average was more about 95-ish. D3D averaged around 98. It was going between, the lowest was 76, the highest was 125 through my own tests when I've been doing things. But seems to hover just below the 100 mark most of the time. And just is an incredible piece of software for that on its own. The Battlefield 1 results weren't as good as some others. As you can see, it was below. I mean, it's literally just above Action. It's on a par with the X3, and it didn't do as well as, say, Playclaw or Shadowplay. But I think you can see the quality of the footage was just incredible. It's certainly making me just think whether I want to use it on a daily basis. So there you have it. That's my sort of summary of D3DGear. I think this is, maybe it's because I wasn't expecting much that it's such a shock at how good it was, but it really was good. I literally think I may be using this software as my main recording software at the moment. I've been really happy with Playclaw, Shadowplay works. I use Bandicam often, but this could literally replace all of those. Once I've resolved the issues with Action, we'll see how that fares. I've got the results of Action in here because I've done the footage of it twice. The problem with Action at the moment is that there's an incompatibility between it and its file output and Sony Vegas. And once I've sort of applied the fix to get them to work, it is still causing me a lot of problems. So I will bring that footage to you soon. Sorry about the audio quality issues that I'm having with the knocking. I'm basically going to have to build a new desk. It's because every time I move, I knock this table and you hear on the mic, so I'm sorry about that, and I promise to try not to do it. So I will be back soon with another video like this. Check out my other gameplays. Please hit the links in the description and make sure you hit like or dislike on this video. Now then, let's move on to the competition. How are you going to win a copy of D3DGear? And I've got one copy to give away. So I'm using Gleam to manage the competition for me. I don't have to do anything myself. Then you just enter it and it picks a winner for me and everything. I think I might need to send you the key once it's done. So in the description of this video, there will be a link to the competition. So just click that, enter the competition, do the things you need to do. You can get 5 bonus entries for subscribing to my channel. So that's quite cool. But you can answer a question. So you can get 6 entries basically if you subscribe to my channel and enter the competition. Answer the question and subscribe to the channel. If you're already subscribed, unsubscribe and subscribe again. So that will get you the entries that you need. Anyway, you're good people, got a lot of time for you. I hope you like this video. I know it's not going to get watched very much, but over time it might do. The competition, I think I've set it to run for about a month. I think it's a month-long competition, so hopefully enough people will get to see it that there'll be a good bit of competition going on for it. So check out my next video, which is going to be on action, and I've got a copy of that to give away as well, which I'll do the same thing with. So you're good people, got a lot of time for you. Love you, bye!
Yeah, goodbye! Yeah!